Command Center Postgame Live. Michael Jenkins, Logan Paulson, and a heartbreaker of a loss as the Commanders fall to the Philadelphia Eagles in overtime, 34-31, after a fantastic finish to get to the extra session, Logan. We're going live to Philly here in just moments with Brian and B. Mitch and also Tana as well. Just your takeaway from watching the end there.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it was such a good football game, right?
Yeah.
Really exciting finish. I love the composure. I love the resiliency of the football team. You know, you got to see that against Denver, and I just think this is who the team is, right? To have this kind of character, to be able to push that drive together at the end is really fantastic job. So even though it's a loss, there was a lot of exciting things I think this team can build on moving forward.
I know nobody really believes in moral victories, but man, to play this well on the road against this team, you can definitely take something away from that.
I 100% agree. I think for it to have this kind of composition of your roster compared to that roster and kind of be fighting down the end, the 2-minute drive at the end, I mean, that kind of encapsulates the game for me, right? So much adversity, and then for everyone to stay the course, make plays when they had to, I thought was fantastic.
The rest of the Command Center crew is now live in Philly. Let's take you there.
Thanks, Jenks. Brian Cooper Jr. here with Santana Moss. Brian Mitchell. Fellas, wow. What a game. What an overtime. Initial thoughts, Santana, what's up with you?
I think my initial thoughts were say both teams fought hard. You know, I wanted to be one of those. I said it before the game that I thought this game was going to be one in the trenches, one up front. Both defenses was going to come in and try to set the tone. And it seemed like both defenses didn't do a very good job of setting the tone because there's a lot of points being scored. But I think it was a hard-fought game. I'm not big on moral victories, but I think our team should hold their head up and feel great about their performance, knowing that they can go back out there and compete with anybody.
And then I think they ultimately persevered through this game and played well. But for me, I think you have to realize that you can't help other teams. There was too many times we blew assignments on the defense and we allowed them to just walk passes and go into the end zone. And one thing I think I know about this football team, you look at that game and there are moments when they are playing outstanding, perfect football. You look at moments and they seem a little lost. You have to play a whole football game. At the third quarter, I think the total yards might have been 5 or 6 yards. Okay, we cannot sleepwalk through a football game. The thing I'm saying is they played this Eagles team, which is considered one of the best in the league, to a 34-31 loss. If you just go out there and not make the mistakes and help them, you beat them going away. They have to get to the point where they can do that on a consistent basis.
And in your guys' mind, like you said, the third quarter is a lot different than the first, second, and that fourth. What was so different about the first, second, and fourth that didn't go down in the third that maybe we needed things to happen then?
I think the third quarter, what stood out to me is just we didn't have we didn't convert. First half we converted on third down. The third quarter we didn't. You know, the Eagles did all the converting. So if you look at it, that right there turned everything. I think the Eagles had at least 12 points in that quarter alone, and but we didn't keep ourselves on the field. One of the things that we talked about during the week, Logan said this time and time again, that we must possess the ball. So in the third quarter, when you're not having those possessions, then you can't go out there and do anything offensively. That leaves your defense out there, and then now they're tongues hanging out of their mouth because their offense run up and down the clock. I think we still won the time of possession. But that third quarter is where our Achilles heels was at.
I think you look at it, though, people have their reasons or answer why things happen. They didn't execute in the third quarter. They got into the game, the first drive, 75 yards, 14 plays. Next drive, 56 yards, I think it was like 7 or 8 plays. They were converting, they were connecting, they were executing plays. And then in the third quarter, that did not happen. It's the same people calling the plays. It's the same plays you had. They went through a lull, and this is the players I'm talking about at that point. I just think that you got to find a way to stay into it, stay connected the whole game, because people have lulls. And I think that's the main thing. When you're going through this game, it's fun, it's tough, but if you're not focusing and concentrating on things, you'll all of a sudden find yourself in the third quarter like we had today. And I think that's the ultimate thing where I believe this team can play, okay? And you see the things that Sam did early. He had 161 yards in the first half. You start thinking, okay, they about to do some things today. Then that third quarter. See, I've always believed in preseason football. You have to at least go into the locker room and come out and play some of that in the third quarter so you get ready. You have that chill period, and then you have to play. And this was part of that today because they slept through the third quarter.
And like Santana said, there's no moral victories, right? However, what a way to respond to a really rough week 3, especially that's Sam Howell's first loss as a quarterback. How do you
Well, first of all, it was a hell of a performance by Sam. He bounced back. He learned from last week. He grew and he got better, and it was reflected in the way he played. It was reflective in the way he led our offense. There are a lot of positive things that we're going to take from that. That's a plus.
So how important was it to see that kind of an effort?
That's growth. That's what we talked about. I think it was Friday you guys asked the questions, and that's what you're looking for, is that kind of growth, that you do something, you make some mistakes, you come back and you play your ass off. Yeah.
You seem frustrated by, was it just the ending, the outcome, or was something else
the outcome,
wrong?
the ending. It's a hell of a football team we played out there, but I think we had a hell of a football team in this locker room. You know, our guys came and they played their asses off. They deserve some credit. We're going to learn something from this, but again, that's a hell of a football team we played against.
How do you feel like the defense held up?
I thought we had our moments. I did. You know, they picked on the young guy today. I expect him to bounce back next week. I do. You know, our quarterback bounced back. He had a rough day last week. The young man had a rough day. Hopefully he learns. He's a young guy. Experience. He's a tough teacher. But that's the kind of stuff he needs. He needs to understand how important it is to do his job the way it's being coached.
How'd you feel your O-line showed up today?
I thought they did the things they needed to. I thought they gave Sam some opportunities. Obviously, they know they can do some better things. Really appreciate the way that they blocked the run as well. You know, I thought our balance today was outstanding, and we can even be better. I promise you, we'll get a chance to look at the tape and we'll figure some things out that we're going to use.
Any consideration there late going for 2?
Yeah, but you know what? Those guys, you know, they were gassed. They really were. I mean, it was a long ass drive. They were hurrying. They're hustling. You know, I really thought, you know, we had the chance. You know, and it's too bad.
Ron, about that drive, what does that show you about the capability of the offense in a situation like that?
You know, we've had a couple of drives like that this year already. But to do it against that team, that to me was very impressive. You know, and you know, there's no moral victories. You know, but we're going to learn from it, and I think this is going to help us going forward.
Before the final play, you guys came out in 12. They took a timeout. You went back to 11. What changed, I guess, after that timeout?
Just really what you know, EB wanted to do.
In the first half, it seemed there was more balance offensively with the run in the pass. Was that something that was of a focus for you guys, or was that just how things kind of unfolded?
I think it was what EB felt he wanted to do. I thought his balance was excellent. I did. I thought, you know, a couple times we had to do certain things based on what they were giving us, and he wanted to go out and take it. And that's what he did. That's why he did the things that he did.
And throughout the summer, you kept talking about Sam's composure. He learned from his mistakes. Is that what you saw today, both throughout the week and then today?
Yeah, that's what we talked about. We talked about him growing, showing some growth, and that was, you know, that's what we believe he's capable of. We really do, and you know, we've had a lot of confidence in him, and he's been paying us back. I know last week was a tough one. This was a good bounce back, but again, there still is no moral victories when you play hard like this and you put yourself in position. You got to capitalize. But again, I'm not taking anything away from what Coach Sirianni and his team did.
For Emmanuel, you stuck by him kind of the whole game. Is that just an experience thing you wanted him to learn?
Absolutely. It's the only way they grow. Be out on the football field, make your mistakes, make your plays, learn, get better.
Was there something particularly from him that you were seeing them kind of go through over and over?
I think it was. I think what they did was they took an experienced guy and did some things. You know, they ran that bubble and go, and you know, he guessed. And you've got to be disciplined. You've got to read your keys and make your plays.
Ron, on the pass to Terry in overtime, I don't know if you got a look at it or not, but what did you think if you did?
Well, unfortunately, you know, the explanation I got was they couldn't see it clear enough. And because there's no definitive, you can't overrule it according to the rules. So, you know, they did it by the book, and you got to respect that they did it by the book.
I know moral victories are not part of the equation here, but how important was it for your team to bounce back after the performance last week?
It was very important, you know, and I think I told you guys on Wednesday, I really liked the way they came to work on Wednesday. I thought they practiced hard on Wednesday. I thought their focus was on getting ready for Philadelphia. You know, and this will be a tough pill to swallow, but I told them in the locker room, man, once we get back to work tomorrow, we're moving on. We're getting ready for Thursday Night Football.
Is your frustration a sign of growth of what you think this team can be?
Very much so. I mean, there were some mistakes we made that I think, you know, that we got to get past that. Just a little thing, just a couple more little things, a little more details that we have to be a little more good with. Because if we are, then I mean, you saw us. We played a very good team out there, and we have a chance. But let's start winning.
What are those little things?
Just details of your job, details of what you're supposed to do. You know, we all got to be better. You know, we got to see how we can help our guys even more so to give them the opportunity to be successful on that football field.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Time now for the fast play of the game presented by the Maryland Lottery Fast Play Games. Play fast, win fast today, and please play responsibly. And of course, what a finish in regulation. Time running out on the clock. Sam Howell, 10-yard pass to Jahan Dotson to tie this thing up and send it to the extra session where the Commanders lose a tough one in the OT. Jahan Dotson coming through clutch as time runs out in Philly. Want to remind you to check out our flagship program, Command Center, with Logan, Fred Smoot, and Santana Moss, and London Fletcher, each and every week hanging out and giving you all of the Commanders insight you need before game day. Check that out on our YouTube channel. We're going to break. When we come back, Sam Howell at the podium in Philly. Stay right there.
Have fun, sis.
Can't stop adding stuff to your cart? Get the Bank of America customized cash rewards card. Choose the online shopping category and earn 3% cash back.
In-play betting, because a lot can happen in 4 quarters. You can wager on the spread, game props, player props, totals, and the money line. Bet365 is the world's favorite sports book for many reasons. In-play betting is just one of them.
Are you on your way?
Yep, coming.
And Mom and Dad?
Don't worry, they'll be there.
Happy anniversary!
Go beyond the expected with the #1 most dependable mass market brand 3 years in a row by J.D. Power. Kia, movement that inspires.
One back.
The winter play was really coming together. Until disaster struck. Tensions were high. Luckily, replacement costumes were shipped with FedEx, which means Mr. Harvey could picture the perfect night. We're ready for the holidays, so you're ready for what's next.
Dad, we're gonna be late.
Can't stop adding stuff to your cart? Get the Bank of America customized cash rewards card. Choose the online shopping category and earn 3% cash back.
It is the Toast of the Town presented by Le Chamadura Champagne and Branson Cognac, the official champagne and cognac of the Washington Commanders. And what a huge afternoon for Scary Terry. Catches 8 passes for 86 yards, almost averaging 10 yards per catch. Of course, had that fumble recovery in the end zone for a Commanders touchdown as well. Let's send it back up to Philly for Brian B. Mitch and Smoot, or Santana Moss, I should say, and we'll have Sam Howell coming up to the podium very shortly.
It's Santana Moss, Brian Mitchell. Well, you hear them talking about Terry. How you feel like our #1 receiver did today, Santana?
He did pretty good. I think they started the game trying to make an emphasis that he had a great productive game, and then the second half they got away from him a little bit. He's one of those guys, though. He's a difference maker. I think if you really look at it, we was a toe away from us converting on that overtime drive, and he was the one, behind that toe. So You want to see him be that player for us because he can be that guy. So I'm okay with it. I feel like I should at least see him have the same kind of production that A.J. Brown had on the other side. But I'm satisfied. But you always want to get a victory behind it.
Yeah, and I think that's so. Like, I look at this game where I understand the concept of what they're trying to do with this offense, and you're trying to get everybody to understand everything. As I said, after week 5, then you can really look at the team a little differently because now they've had 5 weeks of it. I think after week 5, you'll see that EB, and they'll start going to Terry a lot more. That guy produces, man. And when you go to him, you're going to have more great moments than you will bad moments. And I would think you got to find a way to try to get the ball in his hands or get him more opportunities because all he does is make big plays.
Big-time players make big plays. And
There
another
you go.
big-time player that we talked about a lot in pregame was Brian Robinson Jr.
Yeah.
How do you feel that we handled the rushing game this time around? How do you feel he did? Let's talk about that a little bit.
He was productive today, too. B. Rob set the tone. You know, our offensive line set the tone. I love to see what EB was doing early because people made it all week long that you must run. You know what I mean? You must force it. He didn't force it. He allowed that thing to flow our way. And B. Rob was behind it. He would have had 2 touchdowns. He ended up getting one. He fumbled one time. But, he had a great productive day. And that's when games like this, you build from them. You say, okay, what did I do in a loss? In a pivotal loss. And it was pivotal for them guys because it's a division opponent, but they all took home, they're going to take home with them knowing that, man, we can compete with anybody. These guys was in the Super Bowl last year. We also beat these guys. We were the first team to beat these guys last year. So they should have that in the back of their heads that, man, we can go out here and run it with anyone. So
I think this is a game where when you're watching the film, they have to truly understand what they did wrong that helped the Eagles win this game. They correct those things, and they won't have many problems.
Hey, man, always good to hear from you guys. We're going to send it back to the studio. Remember, we are waiting to hear from Sam Howell. We will take his presser immediately. Until then, Brian Coble Jr., Santana Moss, Brian Mitchell, back to you, Jenks.
Thank you, gentlemen. You can experience the excitement of Thursday Night Football at FedEx Field. Last season, we conquered the Windy City under the primetime lights, and now we're ready for a thrilling matchup this time at home. Join us on October 5th, and don't miss out. Secure your seats for Thursday Night Football and that showdown against the Bears today. Visit commanders.com/tickets to secure yours. We are still waiting for Commanders quarterback Sam Howell to appear in Philly. Also want to remind you that Command Center will be on the road in Philadelphia like we are right now, and it's brought to you by Northwest Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of the Commanders, inviting you to stop searching and go Northwest. Check out nwfcu.org/Washington to see how easy it is to join and how Northwest can help make money work for you. Stop by a branch or visit nwfcu.org/Washington today. Sam Howell at the podium coming up next.
You're going to like this story because it's about you. You who forgot to charge your phone last night. You who sprints to the boarding line so your bag will fit. You with him. Until one day you boarded a United plane that was designed for, well, you. And your phone got charged, your bag fit, so did everyone else's, but this story isn't about them. Your toddler didn't tantrum, and you got to fly happily ever after. The end.
Hey, it's me, food. I'm so much more than just what we eat. I'm hand-cut, fresh and frosted. I love it. Aw, I love you too. See, life is always something new. All messy, frantic, and amazing. And from where I sit, you look delicious. That's why every day is worth celebrating. If you can. Stay fresh. Sincerely, food. Sincerely, Safeway.
Right now on FanDuel, we're giving you more ways to cherish the NFL season. When new customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. And you can withdraw your winnings instantly. So get all your high fives in now before football Sundays become Sundays again.
Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Play the Maryland Lottery. Because fun looks good on you. Right now, play our new $10,000 cash and $100,000 cash scratch-offs. They have big top prizes for big fun.
What you looking for?
my financial wellness. Bro, stop searching. Go Northwest. I went to Northwest Federal Credit Union, even better than a bank. I'm actually really building my savings now. Savings? How much? You're not gonna find it in there. Try here. Bro, stop searching. Go Northwest.
Experience the performance of Toyota Camry, from TRD to all-wheel drive and hybrid, with comfort and control. To travel your way and arrive in style. Right now, buy a Camry and get $750 finance cash. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to Command Center Postgame Live. Join the Commanders as they proudly celebrate Hispanic Heritage Night on Thursday, October 5th, as they face the Chicago Bears. The Hispanic Heritage Night ticket offer includes discounted tickets, a complimentary and exclusive Los Commanders t-shirt, a shopping experience featuring Hispanic and Latino-owned businesses, and more. Secure your seat today by going to commanders.com/HHN. Back up to Philly with Brian, B-Mitch, and Santana.
Thanks, James. Brian Coble Jr. here, Santana Moss, Brian Mitchell. As you guys know, we are waiting to hear Sam Howell at the presser. And speaking of Sam Howell, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Talk about this guy's poise. Yeah. Talk about his way to be able to come back with just 1 minute left and drive this team. Let's talk about Sam a little bit.
Sam had a great game. I think when you look at everything that he did, he was cool, calm, and collective. You saw him get the ball out of his hand earlier. We wanted to see more of that. He stepped up now in the pocket. Me and B. Mitch was talking about some of the things he was doing when it came to that, and he ran a lot. Things that's going to open up throughout the year for him when those guys are rushing upfield like that. But I'm glad he had a bounce back game. I'm glad we didn't see him putting the balls in harm's way that much. Probably seen one or two of them, but something that he could look at on film and say, I can't do that no more. But I'm just glad that he made it out of his game and it gave himself a chance to say, okay, I erased what I did last week. Now let's move forward.
He corrected a lot of the things we saw last week. Stepping in the pocket, delivering the ball quickly. But he's a tough SOB, to be honest with you. Listen to me, man. One thing about quarterbacks, guys on the team, they watch how guys fight. Yeah. That dude fights. Yeah. And you see that offensive line, they do things that they're not perfect, but they're trying their best to make sure he doesn't get hit. And you can see it starting to work for him. And, you're playing against a team like the Eagles, they're going to get to your quarterback eventually. That team has a lot of great pass rushes. But you watch Sam play, the dude never seems bothered by anything that goes on.
Never.
He just keeps picking himself back up and going again. And I'm looking forward to seeing his growth. And I think as this offensive line begin to feel him do the things like he did early in this game, they're going to block even better. Yeah. Ball coming out quickly, you're going to have people afraid. But what people are doing, they're running a delayed blitz on him. And he's going to have to start to understand that. I think when you lose a game like this, you make sure you focus on every little thing that has happened in that game to make sure the next time it doesn't happen again. And we talked about they've done this the last 3 weeks where they wait, the ball goes, everybody goes, then all of a sudden here come that linebacker. That's your guy. Soon as that linebacker comes, dump it to the running back right behind him, and you'll stop them from blitzing you like that.
And I think you touched on this a little bit. Something that Sam showed today that I don't think a lot of people gave him credit for was how athletic he is. Yeah. Letting that play die and say, you know what, I'm going to take off and run. Yeah. What wrinkle does that add to this offense, having a quarterback that can be so mobile? And I think he showed today that he's probably going to run a lot more.
Well, he's a threat. I mean, we knew that coming out of college that he can run with the ball in his hand. But I think when most quarterbacks get to this level, they try to be more of something that they ain't. I think the game has, transcended now to where a lot of the guys that do what Sam did in college are the starting quarterbacks now in the league. You look at across the league now, you don't see too many standard pocket quarterbacks. So he understands what he has. I think it's always you have to be smart. And most quarterbacks are saying, hey, I'm going to take it if I have it. If I don't, then I'm going to try to make sure that I do what's best with it. And I think over time, he would tell himself, I'm going to pick my moments when I can get those yards with my feet. But not just picking your moment, you have to be smart about it, because you see a couple of times he just take on hits. You don't want to see a quarterback taking on those extra hits. You're already getting sacked enough, so don't escape the pocket and allow guys to tee off on you. But I think over time he will pick his moments a little better, and he'll see things a lot slower. You know, right now it's still probably fast because he does look calm and cool back there, but you can just imagine being a young guy, that stuff probably is at warp speed right now for him, you know?
I think, like you kind of said, when you watch when he stepped into the pocket today, he stepped, saw them there, boom, kept going. Yeah. I think the whole thing about him is he has that athleticism, and sometimes once you break it, you still want to be, dude, get down. Yeah. Okay, we need you the next play. But the thing, you see him correct a lot of things. He got better at some things today that we saw last week. But Sam, man, he's gonna be all right. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that's the thing about this thing. You're looking for growth week in and week out.
Every week.
And you can't look at this game today and don't believe that guy could be a top quarterback in this league.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that. Remember, we are awaiting Sam Howell's press conference. We will take that immediately as soon as he's ready to go. And I think today has been all about adjustments. We need to talk about all the adjustments that have been made. And a big part of that, especially offensively, is Eric Bieniemy and the adjustments he made today. Speak on the adjustments he made and what you saw from Eric Bieniemy that you haven't seen in the first 3 weeks.
Well, I think you see pretty much everything. But one of the things you saw earlier this game, he moved the pocket a couple of times. Yeah. He added some guys in a couple of times. You know, he mixed it up very well. He called a great game, you know, especially in the first half. I mean, you know, the first half we possessed the ball a little more. The third quarter kind of got away from us, but he called a great game. And then he took his shots when he wanted to. I think Sam won a couple of those balls back because it was a couple of shots that I feel like if you just lead them a little bit in the other direction, then those guys can run up under it. But I think EB has been doing a tremendous job since he's been here. But I think the more and more he's out there, he'll be able to say, okay, this is what I should do more of or less. Because especially when you have a quarterback like Sam that can do a lot of things with his legs and his arm.
We find this thing doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
You know, we have big guys that give me 4 or 5 weeks, then I'll tell you what I think. Well, they need like 4 or 5 weeks to really get this thing under their belt, while it's going to be just a thing that just comes, that second nature. You know, I always use the example, you don't jump on a bike and say right foot, left foot, you just pedal. Yeah. When they get to the point where we watch guys breaking the huddle and they're a little confused about where they line up, they still are trying to learn this thing to where it's like second nature to them. Yeah. And when they finally get it as second nature, you'll see. We heard Terry talk last week about the spacing. Sometimes you run the route, you think you're right, but you look and you're in somebody's space, so you got to slide over a little bit. When they learn to just boom, 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 this thing is going to open it up for them. And I don't understand what people think. They think EB was supposed to come in here and everything just works perfect. No, you got to figure it out a little bit. You got multiple people running this one offense, but it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving things, a lot of stuff to think about. And when you finally get this thing to where it's second nature, you'll see how good it's going to be, because I'm looking at the talent they have. This team has as much talent on offense as anybody out there. They need this offensive line to come a little quicker with them, and they fought today because they played against a tough one. But they need to make sure that you be able to utilize that talent that you have on this football team.
And you're right, a very extremely talented offense, but a very talented defense as well. We talked about our defense and containing the run game that is the Eagles. How do you feel they did today, Santana?
They did a great job. I think if you look at Swift, man, he has been averaging some crazy numbers in the last
11.3 in the last game.
And I think he had about 45 today. That's a hell of a job. I think they only rushed for like 100 yards. So they did a great job. And then also, I said earlier that I'd rather us make an emphasis on stopping the run and let those guys in the back do what they do. Our young guy got his welcome to the NFL today, you know, in Forbes Jr. But I know it's something that he going to be able to watch film and say, look, I'm going to be better. He still showed that he's a dog. Like Fred Smoot said, he showed he's a dog. and he'll bounce back as well.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah. And well, guys, like we said, we're still waiting for Sam Howell to get to the presser. Until then, we're going to send it back to the studio. Brian Coble Jr., Santana Moss, Brian Mitchell. Back to you, Jenks.
Guys, thank you very much. We will see you in just moments. Still efforting and waiting on Sam Howell. We will get back to Philly. But before that, people are tired of hearing me. You got to do this.
You got to do a read, okay?
Yeah, you do this.
All right, I'll give my best shot. It's time for today's Never Ordinary Play, presented by 365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And today's play is Brian Robinson's touchdown in the fourth quarter that tied the game at 24. Run by this big back, man. Did a great job.
Man, showing a lot of burst, but also some physicality today in Philly. Again, waiting on quarterback Sam Howell after that almost miracle comeback today in the city of brotherly love. We will bring you live coverage from Philly. Stay right there.
Hey, grab me one too.
Marissa, what are you doing?
Searching.
For what?
My financial wellness.
Stop searching. Go Northwest. I went to Northwest Federal Credit Union, even better than a bank. And they hooked me up with totally free financial counseling to help me manage my money.
Totally free?
Totally free.
I feel my financial wellness running through me already.
Whatever works. Stop searching. Go Northwest.
When adventure calls, answer in a Toyota RAV4. Equipped for a range of capability, ample cargo space, and to keep you connected. Right now, buy a RAV4 with low APR financing. Toyota, let's go places.
Are you on your way?
Yep, coming.
And Mom and Dad?
Don't worry, they'll be there.
Happy anniversary!
Go beyond the expected with the #1 most dependable mass market brand 3 years in a row by J.D. Power. Kia, movement that inspires.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception? First down? Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
One bag.
The winter play was really coming together. Until disaster struck. Tensions were high. Luckily, replacement costumes were shipped with FedEx, which means Mr. Harvey could picture the perfect night. We're ready for the holidays, so you're ready for what's next.
Welcome back. Command Center on the road in Philly is brought to you by Northwest Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of the Washington Commanders, inviting you to stop searching and go Northwest. Check out nwfcu.org/Washington to see how easy it is to join and how Northwest can make your money work for you. Stop by a branch or visit nwfcu.org/Washington today. Back in studio here in D.C., Michael Jenkins, Logan Paulson, and listening to Ron Rivera, you could see and hear the frustration when you play well enough to win, but a play here or there, it just turns the tide of this game.
Yeah, and I know, like when you're so emotionally invested, like think about all the prep that they put in. It's a divisional opponent. It's all the adversity, all the criticism that they've been facing this week to come out with that performance and be so close to kind of putting that cherry on the top and getting the victory and kind of saying, hey, fans, we are for real. Like, hey, Commanders community, we are for real, which is fantastic. So, unfortunately they lost, but I think there's a lot of really positive things to take away from this offensively. I think you got a young quarterback who looks like he's maturing every single time he's on the field, which is all you can ask for from a player like that. The offensive line, I thought, did a great job against that vaunted Philly group. They ran the ball consistently. There was a diversity from the play caller in terms of we got some quick game, got some run, moved the pocket, took some shots. Great job there. Love that. And then defensively, I thought they played well enough on a whole, but I thought Forbes had a tough day. And I think Ron in the presser kind of alluded to some of the frustrations they had with him in terms of maybe not playing the correct technique and having to mature. And I think when you have young football players, they do they do things that young football players do. And this is a byproduct. And unfortunately, it's one of the contributing factors in the loss. So
hell of an effort. Falls just short in Philadelphia. The guys are standing by right now, still waiting on Sam Howell to appear at the podium. Let's go back up to Philadelphia. Gentlemen.
Thanks, James. Brian Coble Jr. here, Santana Moss, Brian Mitchell. Now, before we got cut off, we were waiting on Sam Howell's presser. So if it happens again, sorry we got cut off. We're just trying to get you your quarterback. We know you want to hear from you guys. B. Mitch, I want to go to you because we were talking defense. We didn't get to finish. How did you feel about this defense? How do you feel they played? How do you feel they did, especially against the run?
I think when you look at the score, you might think, oh, they didn't play well. But no, the defensive line was putting pressure. Saw Chase has a couple great plays today. I felt that one of the key factors would be Cam Curl. He ended up with 9 tackles, and I think Cam was running all over the football field. It's just thing you got to understand, like the secondary today has some mix-ups, and that's totally what it was. Like you can see Cam and Emmanuel was playing like a little game, and they ran a little cross on them. Yeah. They got caught. You know, and that's the thing about it. When you have so many moving parts, it can happen to you. And I think it's just like the offense is trying to learn, you see Emmanuel trying to learn this game of football, and he's going to understand. He'll get better off of this. It didn't look good out there. I'm sure people looked at this and said, well, he didn't play well. Nobody plays well all the time. But when you're young, if you have a tendency to do something, the veteran guys will exploit it. And it happened today, but I'm looking for them to bounce back and play even better.
And B-Mitch, you mentioned Cam Curl was the guy you mentioned pregame. You mentioned Jahan Dotson. Got off to a hot start. How'd you feel he did? Talk about your boy.
Well, they was throwing at him a couple of times. He didn't really get off into a hot start. He caught a couple of passes here and there, and then late in the game, he was able to tie the game up with that touchdown. I want to see more of him. I think this offense needs a guy like that to be that guy to open things up a little more for Terry, because Terry's a guy that he's just going to beat you. He's going to outwill you. Jahan is a guy that, when it comes to whatever route you want ran, he can do that. So I think eventually EB will try to get him more involved. But I was satisfied just seeing they've been throwing the ball around to everybody. So I'm never big on just saying, one guy needed more. I just feel like we hadn't seen enough of him just knowing what he brings to the table.
And another guy we want to see more and more of is Logan Thomas, right? He came back today. Made some big plays. Doesn't have a lot on the stat sheet, but the way he impacts the game is a lot different than just the stats. You talk about what having a veteran like that, a leader like that, and a tight end like that does for such a young quarterback.
Well, he's clutch, I think, especially in that red zone area, and I want to see more opportunities to him in the end zone. You saw he got us down there early in the game, and he took a nice shot again, like he took one over, and I think that was in Denver when he took the shot to the head. So he's one of those guys, but he go up and make those tough catches. But he's another guy that I want to see Sam go to more. He's the safety net. The tight ends is there for a reason, and especially when you have one he's almost 7 feet tall. You might as well throw it up to him, man. But like I said before, EB's just steady, getting guys involved, and I think before you know it, you'll see this offense look a lot different.
Quickly getting into Logan will stop him from taking some of those hits. And I think that's just what it is. A safety valve, and you're looking to get first downs. Okay, it's not wait for the big one. Get 5 yards, get 4 yards, get 8 yards. All of a sudden you're moving down the field, and the defense has to start trying things. And I just want to see Sam be able to go through a game where when he decides to do something, he's not taking those unnecessary hits.
And the Commanders family, remember, we're awaiting your quarterback, Sam Howell. We will be taking this presser immediately. Until then, we have plenty to talk about. Santana Moss, Brian Mitchell, Brian Coble Jr. here. Santana, talk about this defense a little more, right? We have a very quick turnaround, a very, very quick turnaround, right? And you guys have all been in this position. You guys have both been in this position before. What is your mindset at after a game like this, after an overtime game where you're playing extra time, and then you got a quick turnaround on Thursday Night Football? What's that like?
I'll be ready to play regardless. I think defensively, defensively or offensively, if you have a couple of wounds that you endure in this game, you make sure you get home and get those things treated. And I think too, the coach is going to take care of these guys. You probably see more of a walkthrough format, this week. Light and probably get a little more jogging in as the get close to Thursday. But you just ready. We are trained. We are wired to basically do what we do. So we understand our bodies can turn around quickly. I actually like getting to those Thursday night games. I remember I was asked about this earlier this year, or which primetime games I like the most, and I said Thursday. And I think Logan's looked at me like I was crazy, like, what? Why Thursday? I'm like, because I want to play now. I hate the long weeks. I hate Monday nights. But, you got to play them. But Sunday, 1 o'clock game, I'm ready to get it over with. You know what I mean? So I'm one of those games. I'm one of those guys I like playing. So I think these guys are going to get back there, watch the film, see what they did right and see what they did wrong, be ready to go Thursday.
I think the best recipe is to go right back and play. Ask guys, they want to play football. They don't want to practice. Who wants to sit out there with tedious stuff, sitting in meetings all day?
Right.
You want to get back to the game. And I know a lot of people out there talk about the rigors of it, from playing on a Sunday and coming back Thursday. But the guy wants to get to the game, because especially a game like this that you probably feel you should have won, you had opportunity to win. They want to get back to the action to try to correct the things and have some fun. People don't get paid for football games. They do that for free. You get paid to practice. But you get back to the football as quick as you can, and I think this is, although it sounds crazy, guys much rather play the game than practice every day.
Don't sound crazy. I actually believe you, man. I love game day as well. And like we said, the guys, they have a quick turnaround Thursday. No more victories here, right? But a very close game. Saw some really great things in week 4. What do you want to see that you saw today, Thursday night, against the Chicago Bears?
I want to see that desire to win. You know, they showed that. They showed that. You know, we talked about earlier coming into this game that it's got to be mano a mano. You know, I mean, they consider themselves a bully and then punch them in the mouth. I think this team did that on both sides, all phases. So I want to see that same hunger, that same desire to win. And like I say, you know, you can't never, you know, count your eggs before they hatch. So you can't look at Chicago and say, oh, we should get a win. But you have to say, regardless of who you are, whether we playing you at your place or ours, we out there to win the game. And so I hope our guys have that same mentality and take it to the next opponent.
They play 4 full quarters, they win the football game. I want to see 4 full quarters of playing.
Man, we definitely want to see 4 quarters of play. It's so good talking to you guys. Brian Copeland Jr. here, Santana Moss, Brian Mitchell. We're going to send it back to the studio. Jenks, it's all on you, baby.
Guys, thank you very much. Still waiting on the quarterback to appear at the link. Sam Howell should take questions from the media here in mere moments, and when he does, we will take you back to Philly so you can hear it live here on Command Center Postgame Live. Back here, Michael Jenkins, Logan Paulson. So I wanted to ask you about the decision not to go for 2, because I know you were thinking about it, and it's a fair question. And Ron Rivera said in the presser, look, my guys were tired. They needed a break. Yeah, we were going to go into overtime, but they were essentially whipped at the end of regulation. Yeah. You like it?
So I do. I mean, what I would say is when you look at the analytics, right, I always kind of lean to this idea that you can win the game on one play. Yeah. Your offense is on the field. They've got momentum. They've just driven the length of the field. Do you have a 2-point play that you like, that you love? Can we call it right now? They're tired. We're tired. I think we can execute better in that situation and make the play. But Ron has all the information. He's on the sideline. He's with the guys. He's with EB. Maybe EB says, man, I used my 2-point play on the last 3rd down. I don't have one right now. I need a minute to kind of find one that I like. All right, let's kick the field goal. Let's play it overtime. We're moving the ball well. We can get a touchdown or a field goal. So as much as in the moment I was like, man, they should probably go for 2 here, win the game. Another reason you feel that way maybe is because Philly, I think, is a better roster. Yes. And I find that in overtime, those better rosters kind of, you know, they just find a way. They find a way, right? And so I think I would have liked maybe, if I was the coach, I probably would have done that. But again, Ron has all these different metrics, all this different insight that we don't have privy to, that we'll never have privy to. So I respect Ron's decision. He probably made the right one. And, you know, it's easy to second guess those kind of moments. Yeah.
Especially after
what would you have done, Jenks?
What would I have done? I probably would have kicked the field goal.
Would you? Come on,
I would have wussed out. I would have wussed out. I'd been like,
oh, yeah, this guy.
Yeah, get the point, guys. We'll go to overtime. And again, hindsight's 2020, right? And you never know whether they would have converted or not. But when you mention EB, I really thought that there was a really nice balance of play calls, keeping these guys off kilter a little bit on defense, but also not getting too passive. I know some fans didn't like that, but man, whether it was on the ground or in the air, really nice balance on offense.
Yeah, and I really like the way he called the game, to your point, like in terms of running the football. I like the diversity of the passing attack. A lot of quick game. There was a little bit more play action than we've seen. Tan alluded to this in his comments, and Tan is always great, this kind of stuff, but took some shot plays that you like, really set up shot plays. Obviously, they didn't hit on those, but love that philosophy. And so I just like the diversity, because it gives the offensive line different tools in terms of pass protection, takes a little bit of the stress off of Sam. Yeah. So you love to see that stuff, and I think you love, especially after a tough week last week, of getting a ton of criticism as an offense, to kind of see this performance. And again, like, as much as we want to give EB credit, the players make this stuff come to life. You know what I mean? They make these plays happen. They make this thing go. The little details that they execute with. So I was really pleased overall with the offensive performance.
Well, let's switch sides now. Talk about the defense. What did you see defensively here? I thought at least for a while there in certain situations did a nice job of containing Jalen Hurts. In the end, not enough. But what did you see defensively?
Yeah, so I think if you look at the first half, I mean, I don't think you could have asked for a better performance. Like the way they did, they were dominant at points, right? Really unsettling that Philadelphia offense. And obviously, you mentioned Jalen Hurts and containing Swift and all those things that we talked about in the week that needed to get done. You saw them execute that at a high level. I think the thing that's a little bit frustrating is you give up 2 touchdowns with your young cornerback in the second half of that game. That probably shifts the tide. And I'm not being critical of him, but he's got to play a little bit better in those situations. And I think about if they have to go instead of a 50-play chunk, a 35-play chunk. If they have to drive the length of that in that situation, what's the outcome? Is it a little bit different? Can the defense get a stop? Can they get him into a third long situation, make a play? So I look at that, and I think that's probably the biggest difference, in my opinion, between the first and second half. And I think also right when they came out at the beginning of the second half, Philly seemed to have a rhythm in terms of a play call, running the football, finding those quick, easy throws for Jalen Hurts. So I think it's a little bit of both. That's a good football team. They're going to make plays.
For sure.
But also I think there was some self-inflicted wounds that we're going to have to get corrected.
Yeah, and Emmanuel Forbes is a guy who almost had a couple picks, but also
yes, that's right.
And he was close, but also when you're joining with A.J. Brown, one of the best in the game, that's a That's a hard assignment to be talking to A.J. Brown in your rookie season, too.
Yeah, no, and I think that's right. I think like you see kind of what, like to your point, you see what makes him special, right? The ability to kind of make those big plays, not be afraid of a more established player, but also like that's why they pick on him. That's why they run the double move on him, because he is really trigger happy. He's really aggressive to kind of make these plays. So it's kind of walking that line, learning as a player, like when you can and can't do that. Like when you're doing something on TV, oh, that wasn't that funny, so maybe I got to do something different.
Well, yeah, I've been there before. They're like, you know who thought that was great? You. You know who else did? No one. Yeah, I've definitely been there. Still waiting on Sam Howell. He is there live in Philly. Let's take it there. Hear what the Commanders quarterback has to say.
Obviously, a tough loss there for you for sure. What was your kind of just emotional reaction walking off the field?
Yeah, it's a tough loss for us. Definitely a game that we felt like we should have won, and definitely we're capable of winning. But I'm proud of the guys and how we fought till the end and gave ourselves a chance to take it to overtime. Obviously, I think we got to do a better job. If we get the ball first in overtime, it's our job as an offense to go down and score. We didn't do that, and we were really close. We thought Terry had that catch. I could have got out a little quicker and gave him some more room. But yeah, definitely a lot of things we can do better. But it was good to see. I mean, credit to Philly. They're one of the better teams in this league, and I think we showed a lot of people that we're right there. We just got to get over the hump, and we feel like we can play a lot better, and that's the good thing because we're really close against a good team, and we feel like we can play better.
Obviously, I'm sure you're thinking about something you could have done better to maybe change it. But during this past week, you were saying to us, hey, my teammates don't care if I'm young. The scoreboard doesn't care if I'm young. I've got to go do it. Do you feel like you were able to show today that, yeah, I can do it, and we'll just have to do a little bit?
Yeah, well, I think I did some good things out there, but at the end of the day, we didn't win. And I think it's my job to win football games for this organization and for this team, and we didn't do that today. And so we'll go back this week. Got a short week, playing on Thursday night, and we're excited for that opportunity. But yeah, I mean, definitely, I don't believe in moral victories or anything like that. We lost the game that we felt like we should have won.
Sam, the 2-minute drill, minute 30 drill, just everything's fine at you. They're A-gap blitz, and I know everything's going crazy, but what is there time to process how you guys performed in that particular drill and in that particular situation to get down the field and score?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't really processed it much, but yeah, just proud of our guys. The O-line did a good job on that drive, and so many receivers, tight ends made good plays throughout that drive, and those are situations we work all the time. We work on those last play of the games from the 15 or from the 10-yard line, and we know what kind of plays we like. And I love my matchup with Jahan, and he made a good play. But yeah, I mean, those are situations we practice a lot of, and we have so much confidence when we're in those situations. So to get the ball back with some time left was definitely a good opportunity for us, and we were able to go down and put points on the board. We just got to be able to carry that over into overtime and finish the game.
On that pass to Terry, I know you were busy, but what did you see? And when you say you could have gotten to him a little touch earlier, what would that have enabled him to do?
Yeah, they went to man coverage, something that they don't like to do a lot of in first and second down, but on third down they'll play a little more man coverage. The safety came from out of the top and came down, and he was playing man on Terry, so I knew I was going to Terry the whole time. I just felt like I kind of had to move a little bit in the pocket before I could get the ball out. But yeah, I mean, just a play we'd like to have back. We're so close. I didn't see the video of it, but we were told I think the ref told us that it was a catch, and that's why I probably saw the offense went back out on the field. So yeah, that one hurt.
Sam, on the touchdown to Jahan, you were very decisive with that throw. What did you see on that play that you knew you were going right there?
Yeah, I mean, I like my matchup. Obviously, two of the other corners are a good player, and he's got great ball skills, good eyes. He's always got good eyes. So definitely was probably thinking to go away from number two. But yeah, I mean, Jahan made a good play, and in those situations, I trust all my guys. It's more about who's the best matchup at that time, and Jahan made a good play.
Where did you feel you took a step as a quarterback today?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't really thought much from a personal standpoint. I'm kind of just more disappointed about the game. So I'll go back and watch the film and see all the things I could have done better and just try to keep getting better.
Did you feel like you had something to prove today in this game?
Not really. I think, obviously I had a bad performance last week, and, I kind of just put it behind me and just said that wasn't me. And so I just try to come out here today and just be myself and be who I am and try to give this team a good performance out of me. And I would like to have won the game for us as well.
Ron Rivera mentioned that he felt like some of the details were just missing. Were there any that you saw or things that you came away feeling like, we just need to be better on these little things to get over the hump?
I mean, nothing comes to mind right now. I mean, I had to watch the film and kind of see specifically. But I'm sure if he's saying that, then he's probably right. So, yeah, excited to watch the film and learn from it.
In the middle of the 2-minute drive, you came to the line. There was a play before the out to Terry, and you were tapping your hands, and the clock was running, and things were going down. Like, what's going through your mind in a situation like that?
Yeah, I mean, just trying to calm the storm. Obviously, the crowd's loud and the clock's running. We didn't have any timeouts, and so you got to get a play. And EB gave me the call, so just trying to get everybody lined up. And thankfully, we had a good play. The corner was playing so far off of Terry that we had a good completion over there to him. But yeah, just trying to calm the storm. Things we work on in practice, and just credit to EB for getting me a call fast enough to where I could go out there and make it right with those guys. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we work on that all the time.
Has that process improved, I guess, through the first 4 weeks? Have you seen, like, either the quickness of the call or being able to get people lined up the line? Has that improved over the first 4 weeks?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, I think in those 2-minute situations, I think we've been very good, except for, I think, the Arizona game. We had the sack fumble. I think that might have been a 2-minute situation. And then right after that, we went down and got a field goal. But I think every time we've been in those 2-minute situations, we've, for the most part, gone down and got some points. So it's one of those things where when EB first got here, that's the first thing he installed was our 2-minute plays. And in the OTAs and through camp, like, we worked on 2-minute drills so much, and to the point where, like, people were tired of doing 2-minute all the time because we were doing it so much. But I think you're definitely seeing it pay off. Cool. Appreciate it, guys.
Welcome back to here in D.C. Once again, Sam Howell to Jahan Dotson in the end zone to tie this game up at the end of regulation. Now we're hearing that Jahan Dotson will appear in Philadelphia. We're going to wait on him as well. But, Logan, I got to tell you, the moxie. I know that's thrown out a lot. The moxie. Oh, the moxie of this team. But we were surprised that Philly went for the touchdown late in this game to go ahead. I thought they would just kind of grind it down the field, take the field goal. Yeah, but it gave the Commanders a chance to rally here. And there's a lot of heart on that last drive with no timeouts late.
Yeah, I mean, you love the composure in the 2-minute situations, the end of half against Arizona, end of half against Denver. Like, it just is a consistent theme with this team. And I don't think it's by accident, man. Like, during training camp, they spent so much time on those situations. They got so much better at it over the course of that period. And it's almost like the moment's never too big for them, seems like. It's just like we're ready to go. So really, really love that philosophy, that team-building philosophy, that mindset that EB's brought here in terms of practice structure. And you can see it paying dividends almost every week. So
I started to say, especially after last week's performance, not a great performance. There was a lot of blame to go.
Good analysis there by you too?
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Not the best performance from the Commanders last week, but certainly when you have such a setback like that, and the momentum's just going against you, it's easy to fold. And instead, we saw this team come together and galvanize to get back in this thing.
And especially against a team like Philadelphia that's extremely talented.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is one of the best teams in football from a roster construction standpoint, one of the best O-lines, one of the best C-lines. And for them to go out here and go toe-to-toe, and I don't want to say that team's better, but I do think that they're maybe a little bit more talented, and for them to show that level of composure, that level of consistency is really, I mean, it's a testament to the organization and, again, the culture that they've cultivated here, because I've been a part of so many teams where you get down, you're like, there's no way we're coming back. Game's over. Might as well just go in the shower, take my shower now. But you can just tell that's not a part of this DNA here right now, and hopefully they continue to get better at that.
It's Grand Center Postgame Live. Michael Jenkins, Logan Paulson, still waiting on Jahan Dotson to go live in Philly at the press conference after the game. We'll take it there as soon as he appears. In the chat right now on YouTube, a lot of fans upset with the defense.
Okay.
Didn't like them giving up as many big plays and spots that they did. What would you say to those fans?
So what I'd say is, if you look at the composition of the scoring, right? And I think that's, like, it's always easy to do this post game. It's always easy to make excuses, and I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to offer an explanation. Is you have a young player gives up 2 touchdowns, explosive plays. Explosive plays are the death of any good defensive performance. Without those 2 explosive plays, A.J. Brown had 17 points the defense gave up. And again, you can't always subtract that, but I do think with a young football player, Ron alluded to this in his press conference, not doing exactly what you need him to do and not playing with the consistency that you need him to play with, those types of things happen. Because I think if you look at the first half of this game, I think they did everything you asked them to do. And a good football team is going to find a way to kind of rally. I thought they did that in the third quarter. And then there was some explosive plays I think kind of totally shifted the paradigm. So I think once they once Forbes becomes the player that I think we all think he can be, I think we're going to be in a good spot.
And just like I know we always talk about Sam Howell, there's going to be ups and downs. We don't necessarily apply that same principle to a defensive back.
Absolutely. Like a young football player, regardless of position, is going to have a hard time.
Yeah.
Chase Young, his rookie year, took some time to develop and grow, right? Offensive linemen, same thing. It's part of learning the NFL game. Guys are bigger, stronger, faster. Offenses are more nuanced. They're going to challenge you in different ways. They're going to watch you on film and say, man, this guy is ripe for a double move or whatever. It's in game they can make those adjustments. And that's just something you don't see at the college level. So I think that's a fantastic point. He's going to grow. He's going to get better. He's going to improve. And I really am excited for the final product that he's going to be as a player, because when you look at his college evaluation, when you look at that film, he's got everything you want. He's tough. He's physical. He's competitive. He's smart. I think that'll get there.
Hey, Jahan, last play of regulation, when you came out, what did you see at the line of scrimmage, and what allowed that play to work?
We had a play call. Basically, everyone get in the end zone, kind of run curl routes. And, you know, we had one-on-one coverage. It was the last play of the game. We knew that. And Sam just gave me a chance, and I was able to create a little bit of separation and make a play.
And what was the mood in the huddle, like right at the start of the 2-minute drive, and what allowed you guys to be so successful getting down there?
Yeah, I mean, we practice a 2-minute situation every single week. We were doing it almost every day in training camp, so we were more than prepared for the situation. It was just going out there, executing, making sure we get everything possible that we were looking for, and making the most of our looks.
What do you take away from a game like this? You know, the offense is rolling, but still came up short as a team. What do you take away from it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is making the most of the opportunities when they're present in front of you. I like to talk about myself. I had a chance to convert on a third down, and I dropped a pass, and that's a chance right there. That's a chance for you to move the chains. That's a chance for you to keep your offense out on the field. That's a chance for your defense to get a little bit more rest. You got 3 more downs going at it. So I take full responsibility for that. But, you know, we had a chance. We got the ball first in OT, and we had a chance to go down and score and put the game away. But that's the biggest thing for me. Is just making the most of the opportunities when they're present in front of you, because sometimes they don't come back. Going back to that drop, I had a drop, and the next play I got targeted was the last play of regulation. So you don't know if you're going to get the opportunities back, so you got to make the most of them when they come to you.
Ron was saying, sometimes the details, the littlest details, can make the big difference. Do you kind of feel the same way then?
Yeah, 100%. And that's why football is the ultimate team game. You can have 10 guys doing the right thing and one guy not, and play goes completely wrong. So it's all about the little details, all about staying together. That was the message we sent to the team before the game. Just, staying together no matter what, having your teammates back, making sure we push through as a group. So that was the biggest thing. Little details we got to clean up, obviously, because when you play good teams, the win margin is very small. Or the margin of error is very small. So, you got to make the most of your opportunities when you get them.
I know all losses sting, but does this one have a special sting just because it's on the road, you're playing against the best team in the division, it's dominated the division, and you have a real chance to beat them?
Yeah, for sure. All losses sting, but yeah, I would say this one stings a little bit more, just because I keep going back to the opportunities that you had in the game, and when they were, and we just didn't capitalize on some of them, and that goes back to little details, little detail things, making sure that you're giving your maximum effort on every single play that you're out there, and you're making sure that you're doing your job, so that the guy next to you can count on you doing that. So I feel like it was little details things, and it's such a small margin of error in these losses.
So Sam had a tough game last week. What did you see from him bouncing back this week? What did you learn about him?
Yeah, true competitor. He truly is. He goes out there, he puts his heart on the line every single play. And he got us off to a hot start, which we haven't had in previous games. We kind of came out sluggish, but today we came off to a hot start, going down the field, scoring right away. That was a credit to him, getting the ball out fast, trusting his playmakers. The end of the game, he threw me a pass, I had a drop, and he comes back to me last play of regulation. So it was trusting in the guys, trusting in Terry to go make plays one-on-one when he has the opportunities. I think he did a fantastic job, but it's just something we can build on.
How's your ankle?
It's good.
Thanks, Sean.
Yep.
Speaking after the Commanders fall to the Eagles in overtime in Philly, 34-31. So the Eagles improved 4-0 on this season, while the Commanders dropped to 2-2. Well, there's no moral victories in sports, we know that, but it is time for your post-game pizza delivery presented by Paisano. Since your Commanders scored 4 touchdowns, visit your local Paisanos tomorrow, and you will get 4 free toppings all day long. Take advantage of that. Clip off the QR code on your screen. Here it comes right now.
Look what we got. This beautiful pizza.
Look at this. Oh, that's a real
nice
pizza.
Pepperoni.
Oh, it looks good.
Love it. Love that. You like pepperoni?
I love pepperoni.
Do you? Is that your go-to?
Oh, go-to. I'll even put some pineapple on there. But that's divisive. I love the pineapple.
I do. I'm a big pineapple guy as well.
Nice.
If you had 4 toppings, what would go on here?
Oh, God. I'd go double pepperoni, double pineapple. That's what I do.
Could you imagine?
Because I'm a maniac. I'm a psychopath.
I love it.
Before you digest that, you've digested the game. It's a terrible transition. What is your takeaway? What do you want to see? Short week coming up against the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I think that's going to be most challenging for this group is this is a tough, physical, emotional loss, right?
Yeah.
It was very competitive to the wire. Like, you kind of put your heart and soul into it. You're up for a divisional rival, and I think like it is so easy to kind of have a letdown coming into a team that's not very good in Chicago. So my thing is, like, how does Ron, how does Sam, how do the leaders of this team motivate this group and keep them focused? Because, like, while again Chicago's not playing very well, they scored 28 points today, right? And if you're coming in, you're not healthy, you're not focused and approaching this game with the level of professionalism required, it could easily be a loss. So don't let one loss become 2 losses just because this was such a, what's the word I'm looking at? Such an emotionally draining performance, I guess. So yeah, that would be my one thought.
It's coming up shortly. That's Logan Paulson. I'm Michael Jenkins. I'll see you tomorrow on the Get Loud podcast for Fred Smoot. You will see this guy throughout the week on all of the Command Center coverage. Thanks for being with us on this Sunday, and enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you.